the brand, like Boog Brown. What is Boog Brown? Who is she?
I think that that's the hitch right there. It's like a part of my promotional campaign is who the F is Boog Brown, And it's like I don't necessarily want my fans to define me define me in the public, but just define me for themselves. You know what I mean? I reach people in a different manner. The young girl that doesn't feel like she has a voice will hear me in a different way than the dude that's just like now listening to an artist that happens to be a woman. You know what I mean? Like, so there's different, and I fit both of those molds. I fit both of those roles. I never want to box myself in to make it like, oh, I'm this, because I change. You know what I mean? I'm a person. I'm Elsie. I'm Boog. I'm L. I'm L.E. to my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am all those people. So I don't want to necessarily box myself in or create this persona that is a brand for Boog Brown. Like, I am an MC. That's what Boog Brown is. You know what I mean? I talk about life situations. I talk about things that happen to me as my life changes and grows and expands. But I don't want to necessarily put myself into a box like that. So I haven't actually been able to totally define the brand because I've been so adamant against it. But I don't know. We'll see.
It's probably actually, a very smart move, because quite often, artists put themselves into this brand, like, this is me, this is my path, and then, like you said, things change, people evolve. And when you and when you step out of that brand, the public is like, what's going on?
Exactly. Yeah, right. They're like, oh, well, I thought you were this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, I was that, or I am that, but I'm also this too,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Forever changing. I mean, evolution is a part of life, and if we're not evolving, we're not going to survive.
Exactly.
Tell me about your journey. What brought you from Detroit to Atlanta?
Actually, it didn't even have anything to do with music. It had to do with the fact that I had graduated from college a couple years before I moved here, and I couldn't find a job in Detroit that was worth keeping. So I decided with my homegirl after she graduated, and I mean like really the day after she graduated from college, we packed up our stuff and we drove down to Atlanta, like 3 cars deep. We had gone down like a month prior to scope out a place to live, got a place to live, put a deposit down, came back. She graduated, I put in my 2 weeks notice, and we moved down to Atlanta. And it was just like, we got to find something different, something better. I've been in Detroit for like 25 years at that point, so it was like, well, it's time for me to do something different, do something new, and what better place than Atlanta? They were, quote-unquote, all these opportunities. Why not? So we moved down to Atlanta.
Nice. Yeah, it's such a fantastic music hub, like for everything from artists to Unreal Studios to, you know what I mean? Like, Atlanta is quite the music spot for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's so much more than what you hear on the radio. It's 10 times more than that. There are so many brilliant artists in Atlanta that, like, you wouldn't even imagine. You can't even imagine the amount of like fantastic, well thought out, well produced, well crafted music coming out of Atlanta. It's phenomenal.
And who, like, you've collabed with a number of Detroit artists. Who's someone in the future, with the evolution of Boog Brown, who is someone that you would look forward to collaborating with down the road?
Oh, so many people. I don't know why, but I would love to have something to do. I don't even think I would be able to do a song with Radiohead, but to do a joint with Tom York would be like incredible for me. And him or Bjork or Andre 3000 or Nas or, there's so many people I'd like to work with. I'm willing to work with anybody that's dope and anybody that wants to work with me. Like, I never want to get in a situation where it's like, oh yeah, I'll pay you to do this joint. It's kind of like I want to be artist to artist, like, hey man, I want you on this song, or hey, I'd like to do a joint with you. And they'd be like, all right, cool, let's do this, or vice versa.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's anybody that has something to say that's worth saying and, works at their craft, I would love to work with them.
Yeah, fair enough. Anybody who's a serious, artist, period.
Yeah. But definitely Andre 3000 and definitely Nas and definitely Erykah Badu.
Oh, yeah.
So
You and Erykah Badu.
Those are my top three.
No doubt. And I love the Radiohead idea, too. It reminds me of the Rock the Bells, probably 4 or 5 years ago, that was headlining, was it Wu-Tang and Rage Against the Machine?
Yeah. And I was like, what? But it turned out awesome.
Yeah, I unfortunately didn't get a chance to get down to that one, but it's amazing when these two types of artists, like, I mean, I think that was more powerful than the Jay-Z Linkin Park join up, but it's always nice when you see this cross genre coming together, because hip hop is so just crosses boundaries, like
exactly. Hip hop kind of runs the world. Like, it sells just about everything. Period. Like, it sells. I'm watching this commercial right now, and I can just imagine the music behind it. It's probably hip-hop influenced, It's like hip-hop has influenced and changed the world, so it crosses the boundaries, crosses genres.
Your track, UPS.
Mm-hmm.
I love how you use the acronym.
Oh, thank you.
For most of it. Do you get a lot of feedback with that, or do you find that people notice it, or?
People notice it after a while, but I don't think I've gotten. I think I've gotten feedback about maybe after somebody listens to it for like 3 or 4 times. Excuse me. 3 or 4 times they kind of notice it, but it actually came from Apollo and I thinking like, okay, so we want to do this album, and originally we were going to do this group. It was called UPS, and we were trying to figure out what UPS meant or what it stood for. So I had this list of what you could say, like, or what UPS could stand for. And so I just ran all of that off and made it rhyme, So it kind of was just like, it was kind of random. Yeah, it was really kind of random.
Dope still, though. I would never have assumed it to be random based on listening to the joint, because I caught on pretty much on my second listen. I was like, is she? Let me pull that back. Let me.
Nice.
I'm like, did she do that? Oh, she did. And again. And there it is again.
Oh, nice. Thank you, man. I was trying to pull it in, because if it was called UPS, I was just kind of want to incorporate it in the song. And so I guess I had to do that through the hook. So it was, it was a bunch of random words that were all UPS words that I wanted to make mean something. But I'm really glad at the way that it turned out. I will say that. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's wicked. And you have a pretty solid video for that one.
I know, right? High Impact Designs actually did that one. And it's one of my favorites, too. I hope to work with him again in the future.
Yeah. And so just out of curiosity, because, I mean, in Canada we have this network of grants that we can apply for. And, how do you go about funding something like that coming out of the States where I'm not aware of many places that support that type of art?
Oh, no, there's really not. Well, I can't say that there's not much funding, I can't say that because, of course, there's Indiegogo and there's Kickstarter and then there's, Cashflow.com. There's a bunch of different places where you can go for funding. And then, of course, you can do loans, but everything that I've done so far that I've had to pay for has come just out of my pocket,
Yeah.
But then from the 9 to 5 is where it's come from.
Yeah. Yeah, the 9 to midnight.
the 9 to 11.
Yeah.
That's where it's come from.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really where most of the funding has come from for me. And like people that, like my uncle, who definitely made a huge investment in what I do maybe a year or two back. And, my family, they help out where they can and when they can, but really it's just kind of out of pocket.